Welcome. Thanks for stopping by the website for the Patrimony Fund Project. I'm Father Miles Heinen, the Executive Director of the Vincentian Solidarity Office. We say VSO. The VSO is an office of service for the Congregation of the Mission, and I report directly to our international office in Rome. The VSO is helping the Congregation of the Mission to raise the funding for the Patrimony Fund Project. Basically, what we have is a $5 million challenge grant and a 10-year window in which to raise the matching funds. The clock started ticking in 2006 and will run until December 31st, 2015. That's the time we have to raise these $5 million. So far, we have raised $2.24 million. That means we have $2.76 million to raise in the next 5 years. Let's look at where the funds are going to go. If you're at the website, you can see over here to my left a listing of provinces and vice provinces with the Superior General's name at the bottom. These are the beneficiaries. They were chosen according to need and according to a lack of access to other funds. Let's see what will happen if your generosity helps us to achieve our goal. St. Cyril and Methodius will receive $2.375 million, or 23.75% of the total. The Slovakian Fund will be $1.5 million, 15% of the total. Chile and Hungary will receive $1 million, 10% of the total. Fortaleza, Brazil will receive $875,000, or 8.75% of the total. Eritrea and Nigeria will receive $500,000, 5% each of the total. Ecuador and Mozambique will receive 6.25% of the total, or $625,000. And the Superior General will administer a fund of $1 million, or 10% of the total. Now, these funds are an endowment. That is part of the reason we call them patrimony funds. Only under very extraordinary circumstances would the distribution be allowed to diminish the corpus, or in other words, the endowment level, or in other words, the amount equal to the total donations received. The fund will be managed by the General Curia until the province can demonstrate the capacity to manage an investment of this nature. Only the capital gains and the income of the investment are available to the province. The distribution will be based on a 5-year rolling average of the value of the fund as of December 31st of each year. 5% will be available. The slides show an example of that. Let's assume we're going to get a 7% return on the market. Very hopeful, but let's assume it. Then we have in A, number 1, the first year, $1 million. In B, the second year, we have gained 7%, so we have $1,070,000. In C, number 3, we've gained 7% on the $1,070,000, and we have $1,144,900. And you can see what happens in D, year 4, and in E, year 5. Then in F, we have the total of the 5 years, $5,750,739. And then in G, we take the average of those of F, which was $5,750,000, so we have $1,150,148. Then in H, we would take 5% of that average, which would give us $57,507. And that's what we would distribute. You can see it will not bring us below the $1 million of endowment level that we have in the fund. Then in I, year number 6, we take year number 5, subtract what we've distributed, $57,507, and then multiply it by 1.07 for the increase we'll get, and we come to $1,341,019. Then in J, we're taking year 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is B, C, D, and E, and year 6, which is row I, to come to the next 5-year total. In K, we have the average of those 5 years, which is $1,218,352. And then in L, we take 5% of that, which is $60,918 as the distribution. And we will not go below the $1 million that we have as the endowment level. Your donation is helping to create the financial basis which supports a process of conversion in men and women so that they become credible witnesses to the love of Jesus Christ of the poor. This is the other part of the reason we call these patrimony funds. The funds challenge us to think not of ourselves, but of how we can bring the good news to the poor. How that will happen is not specifically determined yet. But we do know that the congregation of the mission has been the source of some wonderful evangelization, starting with St. Vincent himself. You know, Vincent was very practical. He wouldn't start a work if he didn't have the funding he needed to bring it to completion. Help us to help these provinces and vice provinces have the freedom to go where the poor are and to be good news to and with them. You can click on any one of these project beneficiaries to my left and it'll give you information about them. Or you can click above on wills and legacies, on contribute, on contact us, and you can get how-to information. Thanks for your interest. God bless.